Guys, what's up? Want to do a quick video to demonstrate the idea of broadcasting software development. I think it's a really cool thing that people should know, but maybe it might be useless. But hey, let me know what you guys think. The concept is simple. Let's say you have you're in a home network. You don't know the IP because that's how things work. You need to know the IP of the other device in order to connect to it. But let's say you've got DHCP. Don't want to worry about static IP and this and that. So, and this is kind of useful. Let's say you have a chat application or you have a home automation sort of setup. So the way it works is subnetting. You have this whole range of IPs. You're all familiar with it, 192.168.1.1. The first one is assigned for the gateway. That's how you send addresses out to other networks and to open internet. Broadcast is the one that we're going to worry about because it basically pings every single device on the network. And then you've got the range for other devices, which everyone's going to get assigned to. So the usable stuff. So this is sort of the way it works. You know, you've got an IP. That's how they connect to. It's all IPv4. But again, without knowing what the destination IP is, we've got this great thing called broadcasting. So if you send something out using the broadcast, then whatever as long as it's the same port as the client, even if no matter what, it's going to have its IP address, it's going to listen to it, and it's going to be able to respond to it. And obviously, this only works for your subnet. Other networks, it's not going to work in. So let's kind of demonstrate how this works. And like always, I have a GitHub with a Python demonstration. So, and let me know what you guys think, if there's any room for improvement or anything. I do want to write this as well in Java and .NET. So for simplicity's sake, other people can reference. The way this works is, let's say, so this is the IP of my local laptop here, and I have a Linux VM on a separate machine on my network. As you can see, if I were to run this, it will basically ping all devices on the network until it finds what the server is. Back into the code, as you can see, what we're going to do is show you what's happening here. So on the server side, it's basically we're going to use UDP. The concept is we're going to send something out to the server, to the broadcast, and once you get this IP, you can send this IP to whatever other activities you want. TCP, REST command. So let's get it. So the way it works, you open up a socket using UDP, and you're going to bind it to the port 0000. So the problem is that you have multiple interfaces on your computer, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, virtual machines especially. We don't want to worry about that. So this command basically says bind it to all interfaces on the port. This basically opens up for listening to something with this port number that you kind of specify. And this is sort of like a status to show it, to say what it's doing. And here is what's going to happen. It's going to listen to all interfaces on this port. And when it receives something on that port, it gets the address and port of the set of the source, which is the client. And it's going to just kind of decrypt it, and it's going to send it back to the server. You can see what's happening there. It's getting it received from this IP at this port number, and we're going to send it back to that IP, a simple test message. So what's happening on the client side of things is this. So I kind of set a couple things here for timeout and retries. So, I specify the timeout here and retry, so just so it doesn't run endlessly. What's happening here is we're also going to assign something for a callback. So when we get something back from the server, we need a port for it to communicate with our client. So we open that up here, as you could see. And what's happening here, same thing as before, you're going to do the 00, so it binds to all interfaces because we don't want to worry about that. And 0 just says to the OS, listen, give us a port number that's not being used by anything, helps us out, and then boom, it gives us something. And what's happening is we have to send it out through an interface. So what we do for that, and we need to know what's the broadcast IP. So this little method here goes to here. I did have to do a pip install for net ifaces, but what it's happening here is it's building an array. So for each of these interfaces, you'll see here, I kind of just did a general print. It tells us all the metrics for each of the interfaces. This 127 is our loopback for local stuff on our machine. But it gets the broadcast is what we care about here because that's what we're going to send it out to. So it loops through it because we don't know, it's just one less thing to worry about. It loops through those broadcast addresses, and then from here, it basically sends it out given the port we want to send it to. And whenever we get it back, it's the same port essentially because it's S. we're using the same port that's already listening to, so we know, so the server will have somewhere to send it back to. And when we get something back, it basically, we pull in the data and address. So this is sort of like, data is not relevant in this case unless you want to send something like maybe an identifier or some kind of info about that server, like version and such. And the address is sort of what we're going to print out, because that's what we really need to know. It'll just basically say, hey, server's at this IP. So we didn't specify that at all here where the server is going to be at. It did it automatically. I think that's kind of cool. Take it as you will and send it to other parts of the app. But yeah, this might be useless. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really open to just sort of improving, because I'm trying to do this for some other apps. I do want to do some like background threading for the server. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe if this is helpful. Definitely put a comment if you think it could have been done better, or you just want to complain. Let's do it.